Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. I hope you're having a great day today. This video is all of the best of 2024 videos put together in a super video. Best speakers of 2024, best amps of 2024, best DACS and streamers of 2024, and best products that I forgot to put in another video of 2024. I also took out any sponsored spots. So please enjoy your families, enjoy your day, enjoy your time off, and if you want to watch 40 minutes of the Cheap Audio Man, here's your chance. It's award season 2024. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year where I give awards, the prestigious Cheap Audio Man Awards, where an idiot talks about hi-fi gear that he listened to this year. It's an honor just to be nominated. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the best amplifiers for 2024. I like Christmas. I like the Christmas season. I like Thanksgiving. I like Christmas. I like decorating. I like buying the kids stuff. And most importantly, I like doing awards videos. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about some amplifiers. Best amplifiers for 2024. We're going to do a few different categories. We're going to do a category under $300, a category under $500, a category around $1,000, and a category above $1,000. The nominees for the best amplifier under $300. In no particular order, the Fozzy Audio ZA3. This is kind of an interesting amplifier because you can use it in stereo or you can bridge it and use it in mono. It's also a fairly large footprint. So while a lot of amplifiers of this sort are a little bit smaller, this one is kind of big. You got a little bit more real estate to deal with, which means you have better heat dissipation, and there's orange vents on the side, which makes it faster off of the line. You can also swap out the op amps and make it sound even better. On the back, you have balanced inputs, single-ended inputs, a subwoofer output. You got trigger inputs, all sorts of stuff. I really like this amplifier. Comes in at $149. Occasionally goes on sale. The second nominee for the best amplifier under $300 just came in. It was a new one. I almost didn't even review this because I wasn't really interested in it. You can buy it on Amazon, but it's not in stock in the US on Amazon right now. This little thing, it's so cool. Now, the reason why I think it's so cool is because it sounds good. Sounds actually better than good. And it has a screen on it, and it has a DAC inside. This is coming in at $230. And for most people, in most applications, with most speakers, in most rooms, this is gonna be just fine. I really love it. I really love this thing. Now, it doesn't have the expandability that the ZA3 has, so you can't swap out op amps, you can't run this in mono. But what you can do is look at the pretty fake VU meters on the front. And finally, the last nominee for the best amp under $300 isn't really an amp, it's two mono blocks, and that would be the Fozzy Audio V3 Mono. Currently coming in at $139, so around $280 to get two of them. Similar styling as the ZA3. Obviously a little bit smaller, but it has its own power supply. Balanced or single-ended inputs on the back. I do think these sound amazing, but there can only be one winner. And this year, the winner for the best amp under $300 is the Fozzy Audio ZA3. Not only do I think it sounds the best, I think it's more dynamic than the V3 Mono, but it's just easier to upgrade because you don't have to buy two of them to start off with. If you want to run them mono, you can buy another one, and you can swap out the op amps, and you have more space, and you have balanced inputs on the back. It's just, I think, better. Congratulations, Fozzy Audio ZA3. And the nominees for the best amplifier under $500 for 2024 well, there's only one of them. The Weem Amp Pro comes in at $379, I think, and is an improvement on the original Weem amp. What makes this amplifier special is it's got an integrated streamer inside it. It also has room correction inside it. It also has bass management inside it. It also has an upgrade on the 3255 Texas Instruments amp chip inside, which has the PFFB stuff, which means you get better power at all the different frequencies. So it's more powerful, even though it's the same power. I don't really know how it works. Anyway, it also has an HDMI ARC connection, one optical input as well as one analog input. This amplifier is remarkable for what you get at the price. Rated at 60 watts per channel into 8 ohms, 120 watts per channel into 4 ohms. And for a minimalist system, for a soundbar replacement, for just an awesome all-around product, the Weem Pro amp really can't be beat. I wish it had a phono stage. I wish it had preamp outputs. I wish it had a couple of things, but you really can't complain at $379. Sounds great. Oh, also has 10-band EQ, parametric EQ, Amazon Music, Tidal, Qobuz, a bunch of different ways to listen to your favorite music streaming services. Weem has really set the bar pretty high. The nominees for the best amplifier for 2024 for around $1,000. The Cambridge CXA 81 Mark II. This amplifier puts out 80 watts times 2 into 8 ohms, 120 watts times 2 into 4 ohms. Has all sorts of inputs on the back. Has balanced analog inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4 single-ended RCA inputs, has a pre-out, subwoofer output, sounds awesome, can run 2 sets of speakers, very clean sound. Nice, chunky, 2 optical inputs, 1 coaxial input, 1 USB input with a ground lift if you're having USB grounding issues. Comes in at $1,200, spectacular product from Cambridge Audio. Our second nominee is the Advanced Paris X-I75. 75 stands for 75 watts. That's what it puts out into 8 ohms. On the back, you have a cacophony of inputs. Phono stage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 analog inputs. Preamp out, pre-out, and main in, which means if you want to run an EQ on this thing, you can, because it's like old school with the pre-out and the main in and the jumpers. Subwoofer output, USB input, 1 optical, 2 coaxial inputs, high bias mode, runs 2 speakers. So you can't run 2 pair, you can only run 1 pair. And of course it would not be a award ceremony without an Emotiva product. The TA2 from Emotiva comes in at $1,100, but I think there's a 20% off deal going right now. It has on the back 1 phono stage that has moving magnet and moving coil capabilities. 1, 2, 3, 4 additional analog inputs. Has a high pass filter and a low pass filter built in. 2 optical inputs, 1 coaxial input, 1 USB input. Tons of functionality. But the winner is the Advanced Paris Xi75. Nothing against either one of these other amplifiers. They're all awesome. Obviously, they were nominated on these very prestigious, very important Cheap Audio Man awards. The Advanced Paris just has so much functionality, has tone controls. The Cambridge doesn't have tone controls, which is okay because it sounds great. But if you want to tailor the sound to your preference, you can do that with either the Advanced Paris or the Emotiva. The only thing that the Advanced Paris really doesn't have is the bass management. But with the insane amount of inputs and the high bias, the Advanced Paris is just so much fun to listen to. It's sweet, it's powerful, it's beautiful, and that's why it is the best amplifier for around $1,000 for 2024. And we only have really one amplifier for around the $2,000 range that is the winner for this year, and that is the Unison Research Unico Primo. This does not have a DAC inside. It is old school. All analog. Has a tube inside, sub out, tape out, 4 analog inputs, and an optional phono input that you have to spec when you're ordering it. Doesn't have all of the features of the other amplifiers I'm talking about, but it's probably the most dynamic 3-dimensional amp I've heard. Probably not the most accurate amplifier out there because it does inject its own magic, but it's one of those amplifiers that I have and I listen to, but I almost can't compare anything else to it because it's just so good, or at least I like it so much better than other amplifiers. Has a 12AX7 tube in it. Puts out 80 watts into 8 ohms. I don't remember what it puts into 4 ohms, but it's a lot. It sounds awesome, and it's effortlessly dynamic. Comes in at $2,000, but you can occasionally find these used, which is an incredible deal. Handmade in Italy. You can power up to 2 speakers. Has a crazy cool remote control. Look at it. It's got wood on it and stuff. Amazing piece of equipment. And that's a wrap for the best amplifiers of 2024. Make sure you're subscribed because I'm going to have the best speaker, the best DAC, the best everything, the best dog of 2024. So many fun videos. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. It is my favorite time of the year.
Christmas is just around the corner.
And that time is awards season. The prestigious, the very important Cheap Audio Man Awards. And today we are talking about the best speakers for 2024. We've got affordable ones. We've got expensive ones. We've got speakers for every budget. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the best speakers for 2024. Hot. Oh, that's hot.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
If you are new here, please consider subscribing. We have over 1,000 videos about amps, speakers, turntables, DACs, just about anything for anybody that is interested in hi-fi, audiophile stuff. Listen, I am super insecure. That's why I do YouTube. So subscribing to my channel makes me feel better on the inside. It validates me, makes me feel important. So hit the subscribe button. It's just right down there. You can unsubscribe later. Trust me, people do it all the time. Now, these awards are for speakers that I listened to in 2024. So there's a lot of great speakers still out, still available. But if I didn't do a video or review on them in 2024, then they aren't eligible for this year.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
I am super excited about this speaker because there hasn't been a lot of speakers under $100, new ones that have come out. There's been a few in the past, but some of those, like the Sony SSC S5, have actually gone up, and you really can't get them for under $100 anymore, new. But this speaker, you can get new, and it is, wait for it, congratulations, to the Mica MB, I almost said RB, MB42X Gen 2. A whole bunch of numbers in there. This speaker comes in at $99. In my review of this speaker, I was shocked about how much bass this little speaker put out. Now, it's not a perfect speaker, and listen, speakers under $100 aren't going to be perfect. But if you don't try to push them too hard, some of them are very good, especially this one. It puts out a ton of bass. It's got a 4-inch woofer, 3/4-inch tweeter, soft dome tweeter. The X stands for crossover. Goes down to about 55 hertz, but it feels a lot more powerful than that because there's a bit of a bump. Now, with that bump around 80 hertz, 100 hertz, you do lose a little bit of clarity in the mid-range. But overall, for a speaker that's coming in less than $100, this thing is really good. Has a sensitivity of 86 dB, But the way that it is voiced with that oomph on the bottom, it matches up with a lot of inexpensive, affordable, clean sounding Class D amplifiers. Stuff like the Fozzy Audio V3, the ZA3, the new IEMA A80, the IEMA A07 Max. And a perfect combo with this would be the IEMA A80 because it has a DAC inside. So you just hook your computer up to the IEMA A80, hook the micas up to that, and for less than $330, you have an entire system as long as your computer is the source. And I think if you go in with reasonable expectations on this speaker, you will be amazed at how good it is.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
Dun, 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 dun. Under $500. This is the next category. All right. If you watch any YouTube out there, this thing's probably going to win a bunch of awards, fake awards, because we're all just professional pretenders here giving out awards. This, my friends, is the ELAC Debut 3. The new ELAC speaker that just came out a few months ago, I think in August. Spectacular speaker. An iteration on the first gen of the debut speaker that came out about, 5 years ago or something. Oh yeah, amazing bass for the size. And it's just not the 6.5-inch version that is awesome. The 5.25-inch version is as awesome, if not more awesome, because there's a little bit better clarity in the mid-range on the 5.25-inch version. This speaker is coming in at $450 retail, which puts us well under the $500 limit. Magnetic grills. Port on the back, a new aluminum dome tweeter, and aluminum dome tweeters to me always sound a little bit harsh, maybe not perfect, maybe not tonally accurate. Well, not on the ELAC Debut 3.0. It sounds real nice. This is a bit of a rolled off speaker though, so if you're looking for like spice and air on the top, this is probably not the speaker for you, but that's okay because I have another alternative for a speaker that also wins the speaker of the year, but it sounds different than this one. That is the Emotiva XB2. And this speaker comes in at $499, but Emotiva regularly has 20% off or 15% off deals going on their website. So that puts the XB1 with 20% off coming in at $399.20. This is the yin to the ELAC Debut 3's yang. So quite different. With the Emotiva, it just occurred to me that both of the speakers of the year under $500 the manufacturer starts with the letter E. ELAC and Emotiva. E squared for 2024. Anyway, the Emotiva is all about air, all about clarity, all about spice on the top end, and a lot of punch on the bottom. So you have two choices here, and they're both great, but which one you think is the best for you depends upon what your listening style is. There is no single one best speaker for everyone, because everyone's different. Some people like chocolate cake, some people like vanilla cake, some people like fruit cake.
Christmas.
I don't understand why, but some people do. But it doesn't mean that you're wrong because you like fruit cake over chocolate cake. I think the 5.25-inch Debut 3 from ELAC, you may want to get a subwoofer if you want that full range experience. You're not going to get a full range experience with the 6.5-inch woofer, but it does have so much bass that it will amaze you. It will shake you into your chest. And then the Emotiva is just air, detail. Ugh. What a wonderful year for speakers under $500. Congratulations to both Emotiva and ELAC.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
Under $1,000, it goes to Emotiva again with the XT1s. These are a pair of floor standing speakers that are just outstanding. I think, and if you get 20% off, these are coming in at $800. I don't think there's a speaker that can match them. Now, again, if you're not into clarity, if you're not into a little bit of detail on the top end, then these speakers may not be for you. But for $1,000, $800 on sale, what you're getting with this speaker is just next level. You get an AirMotion tweeter, 25mm by 32mm, 4.5-inch mid-range driver. Yep, that's right. This is a true three-way speaker. 3 5.25-inch woofers, 89 dB sensitivity, nominal impedance of 4 ohms. Frequency response going all the way down to 45 hertz up to, I don't know what it is, 1,000,000 hertz, 27,000 hertz. But if you are not into that lively sound on top, then this may not be the speaker for you. Unfortunately, there just aren't a lot of options for something that has a warmer tonality. You can look at something like the new ELAC debut series, but I don't know what those would be coming in at for a pair of floor standing speakers, and I haven't heard them.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
Between $1,000 to $2,000, we have two speakers that I think are just absolutely insane. One of which is going to be a bit different, so just bear with me. The speaker that I really just fell in love with, to the point where I bought the speaker from the manufacturer, is the Sonus Faber Lumina 2 Amateurs. This is a smaller speaker, but it's handmade in Italy. Has kind of a leatherette type of a wrap. Bottom ported on the bottom. 5.25-inch woofer, maybe I don't know if that's a 6-inch woofer or not. 1-inch soft dome tweeter. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at the baffle. Look how beautiful it is. For me, this speaker represents a fun but refined sound. It's just got a wonderful tonality. But it's also very dynamic, especially for a small speaker. Now don't let the size fool you either, because this thing can play loud in a larger room. But you don't want to overdrive something wonderful, beautiful like this. You might want to put a high pass filter on it. But with the subwoofer, nice high pass filter, around 60, 70 hertz, this beautiful thing is going to give you everything you want in a speaker. I wouldn't call this a V shape, but I would say there's a little bit of emphasis on the bass, little bit of rise on the top, and then the mid-range has just a slight veil over it. But from an overall sonic characteristic, the Sonus Faber Lumina 2 Amateur is one of those speakers that I just can't stop listening to. And this one, I think, would be just for about anybody. If you're after a straight, just pancake frequency response, maybe not for you. But I sure love it, and I think it deserves an award. Don't you? That's right, you do.
Christmas is...
Now, this one is probably the most unorthodox speaker on the entire list. That is the Cambridge Evo 1. It's not really a speaker. It is a speaker, but it's also a streamer. It's also an amplifier. It's also kind of looks like a sound bar, but it's not really a sound bar because it's way, way better. Has a screen, has the Stream Magic streamer inside. Has something crazy like 12 different drivers. Nope. It has 14 built-in speakers. High resolution DAC, 6.8-inch display. Works with AirPlay, HDMI connection, optical connection, phono stage. I mean, this thing is just amazing. Next level. Now, if you can get rid of your paradigm of what hi-fi should be, if you can just kind of open yourself up to maybe this thing sounds awesome and maybe it's super convenient and maybe I don't have to run wires, then this thing will blow you away. It's images, it does everything. And if I were tight on space, or if I was doing a TV room or something and I wanted something that sounded awesome and was just simple, this would be what I would get. And it's $1,500 and it plays super loud. Congratulations to the Cambridge Audio Evo 1.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend.
And the Cheap Audio Man 2024 award for the expensive speaker over $2,000 goes to the Wharfedale Super Linton What an amazing speaker. Coming in at $2,500, I think they're running a sale where you get free stands right now, if you can find them. I think they sold out fairly quickly. This is a three-way speaker, heritage style speaker, kind of like a really, really, really big bookshelf speaker. Comes with matching stands, which are amazing. You don't have to put together. You just open up the box and you pull them out. And for me, this is a definite departure from what the regular Linton sounds like. Regular Linton, little warm, little rolled off on top, kind of similar to the ELAC debut series. Super Linton, though, a lot more air, a lot more information, a lot more sparkle on the top end. It's just amazing. $2,500 is a lot, but when you compare it to something like stuff from Klipsch, the Heritage series from Klipsch, the KLH Model 5s, the JBL stuff that's out there, the L100s, this is a deal. Real wood veneer, beautiful design, beautiful sound, huge, voluptuous soundstage. It's just so fun to listen to these things because they're throwing stuff everywhere and they're fairly easy to drive. Really impressed with the Super Linton from Wharfdale. And that's it. If you want to see my video about the best amplifiers of 2024, I will put it right here or right here. I love this time of year. Please have fun. And don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen for hours, hours, and hours and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.
Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up just around the bend.
We have another Best of 2024 video. I know you're probably getting tired of them, but I've talked about amps, I've talked about speakers. What I haven't talked about is DACS or streamers. Well, today we solved that problem. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the best DACS, the best streamers of 2024. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I know over 60% of you watching aren't subscribed, and it makes me feel better about myself on the inside if you just subscribe to my channel because I'm super insecure and I need the external validation from people subscribing to my channel. Please, it's right down there. Just click it. Like the video too, and put a comment down there about anything. This is kind of a difficult category because one of these products doesn't really fall into being a streamer or a DAC, but it's still something that's awesome and deserves an award. So we're starting from the most affordable going all the way up to the most expensive. And just like the last few videos, these are only products that I've reviewed in 2024 or done a video on. So there's a lot of products out there still that are awesome. Yay! But for the awards, just stuff I listened to in 2024.
Christmas is just around the corner.
And the winner for the most affordable DAC for 2024 is the incredible, the versatile, the SMSL PS100. What makes this product special is number one, the price. It comes in at $30. $30? That's right. It also has an HDMI ARC input. It also runs off of 5-volt power, which means you can put a linear power supply on this and get even better sound. It also has a very capable Sabre 9023 DAC chip inside. Also takes in an optical connection, a coaxial connection, and then outputs RCA connections. So the use case for this DAC would be, number one, if you are on a really tight budget. The second use case is you want to bring in your TV via ARC to something that doesn't have an ARC connection. And even in that use case scenario, it makes it worth the cost of admission. The third use case scenario is you could buy a very affordable used DVD player or even a new DVD player. There's a Sony DVD player out there that has a coaxial digital output. It's about $20 or $30. Then you could buy this because the onboard DAC on that Sony DVD player sounds terrible. So you'd buy a $20 DVD player, a $30 little DAC, and for $50 you would have a very good sounding CD player slash transport.
Christmas is just around the corner.
The second DAC of the year, under $200, and I just did this video yesterday, is the Duke Audio DAC Q11. What makes this DAC special is actually two DACs in one. On one side you have an AKM 4493 DAC. On the other side you have a Sabre 9038 DAC. Also runs off of 12 volt power, so you can get a 12 volt linear power supply to run this. Has a remote control, and you can definitely hear a difference in the two different DAC sections. Has all of the normal inputs. You have coaxial input, you have optical input, full-size USB input. Great display, great fun, versatile product. Has two swappable op amps and sounds great on both sides, either the AKM side or the 9038 side. Also has really cool lights, so it'll make your affordable stack look fairly interesting on the shelf, especially when you turn the lights down low and enjoy a nice warm beverage during the holidays. Congratulations, Duke DAC Q11, for being the best DAC under $200 in 2024.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Another great product under $200 is the SMSL DL100. This is also a headphone amplifier. So you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting a super affordable, super awesome DAC with HDMI input on the back, with coaxial, with USB, and with optical, of course. You are getting a remote control, you're getting balanced output, single-ended output. On the front, you're getting a single-ended headphone output and a balanced headphone output. The DAC they're using inside is a interesting DAC chip, and I've talked about this before on a few other products. It's simultaneously a headphone amplifier and a DAC at the same time. And when you use these Cirrus Logic chips, you can get a very affordable yet capable headphone amp and DAC. It's the Cirrus Logic 43131 DAC chip. Claims to put out 3 watts times 2 into 16 ohms, 1.5 watts times 2 into 32 ohms. So this is going to drive most headphones. Also has some filter roll-offs, also has some baked in EQ settings.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Coming in just north of $200 is the Topping D50 Mark III. This is a very small, as far as footprint goes. Comes with a fully functioning remote control and a display, which you will not be able to see unless it's right here. Also powered off of 5 volts, which opens up the opportunity to use a linear power supply or even a battery bank, which, depending upon which battery bank you get, could take the noise level down to almost zero, maybe. Uses the Sabre 9039 Q2M DAC chip. Also has LDAC Bluetooth if you're into that sort of thing. Bluetooth, USB-C, optical, and to make it even better, even in this tiny little footprint, you have balanced TRS outputs right next to the single-ended RCA outputs.
Christmas is just around the corner.
This is the product that really didn't fall within a product category, but is an incredible deal if you are a Roon user. And this is the Roon Nucleus 1. What it is, it's a Roon server. And you can also hook up your own music to it via hard drives, via SSDs, via all sorts of things. If you're not a Roon user, you're probably not going to find this product interesting. In the past, you would have to load Roon onto a computer, or you could load it onto like one of those Intel Nook, the small computers, and that would be your server. At $500, if you're really into Roon, the Roon Nucleus 1 is an incredible product.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Getting into the straight up streamers, of course, this is no surprise. It's the Weem Ultra. And Weem, or Wim, however you want to call them, is probably the most disrupting company when it comes to streaming, hi-fi streaming. The Ultra has HDMI input, it has subwoofer output, and active bass management. One of the best and the easiest to use streaming platforms out there: Amazon Music, Tidal, Kobas, as well as a whole bunch of other streaming services. Has room correction, parametric EQ, graphic EQ. Has a screen that displays album art. Really is a digital hub. It's an amazing product. Does it have the best clock inside, the digital clock? Does it deal with jitter as good as some other streamers? No, it doesn't. But it does have a USB output to where you can clean up that jitter a little bit for $60. It's a little product that you connect that makes some people's heads explode. But if you use the USB output, you lose bass management, which I've been told they're going to update in a future firmware update. I can't say enough about this product. I use it all of the time. And whether or not people like it or don't like it, they should all be celebrating that it is forcing other companies to come out with more affordable streaming options.
Christmas is just around the corner.
What I would consider to be the expensive streamer of the year is the Cambridge Audio CXN 100. I love this thing because it has a display, but it also has some really cool tactile buttons on the front, which is almost like using a CD player for me. I don't know why, but I got a big kick out of that. On the back, you have balanced outputs, single-ended RCA outputs, optical and coaxial output, optical and coaxial input, so this can be used as a DAC. USB input, you got a ground lift just in case you're having any type of hums going on. Also has Bluetooth, you can hook up a hard drive to this to stream your own music. Works off the Stream Magic app. And DAC duties inside are being handled by a Sabre 9028. Comes in at $1,100, but if you take a peek at some of the internals, you can see where some of this price is coming from. Much better clock and jitter control than the Weem Ultra. Larger footprint, obviously. A lot of old school design too, especially in the power supply if you take a look at it. Through hole soldering, all of it. Very cool to see companies still making products this way when they could easily cheap out.
Christmas is just around the corner.
And the best DAC of 2024 at any price is the Jashelli Labs Daisy. This is quite frankly the best DAC I've ever heard. Comes in around $1,100 or $1,200 depending upon how you configure it, depending upon what type of enclosure you get. I like acrylic because you can see through it. Has a whole bunch of inputs, whole bunch of outputs, can distribute digital signals, which I don't particularly understand. If you do, put it down in the comments. 8 swappable op amps. Stock, it comes with some Texas Instruments op amps, which are awesome. But if you want to take this thing to the ultimate level of sound quality and 3D reproduction, then get yourself some Sparkos op amps. You gotta change 8 of them though, and it's not cheap to do so. External 12-volt power supply, which means you can also hook up a linear power supply to this device if you have one. Analog, voluptuous sound. Unapologetically unique design. Made in the USA down in Florida by a wonderful family. If you ever get an opportunity to listen to one, please do it. They're all made to order, so if you're interested, reach out to Jashelli Labs. So that's a wrap for the Streamer and DAC Awards for 2024. If you want to check out the best speakers of 2024 video or the best amps of 2024 video, I will put them right here or here. I can never remember what side it's on. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays.
Christmas is just around the corner.
I cannot believe I forgot these 2 products. One of these products is absolutely my favorite integrated amplifier. I thought I did the video on it last year, but when I went back and was doing some research for some of the other videos I was making, I saw it right there in 2024. We also have one bonus speaker of the year. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about, I can't believe I forgot these 2 products for products of the year. I can't believe I forgot these 2 products of the year. It doesn't.
Christmas is just around the corner.
If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And I know there's a lot of people here that aren't subscribed. Over 60% that aren't subscribed. So please, do me a favor. You can subscribe now. If you don't like it, you can return it. There's no restocking fees. So just do it right down there. Maybe here or here. Just hit the subscribe button. Please. The product of the year that I can't believe I forgot, that I use a lot. I wouldn't say daily, but I do use it a lot. It's running in my living room right now. I've bragged about it. I've romanticized it. I've loved it. It is the Advanced Paris A10 Classic. One of my paradigm shifts in hi-fi. Because not only does it sound incredible, it looks incredible. And how it looks is really what makes this product special, because you can't really divorce, you can't really separate out how a product makes you feel when you're listening to it visually. So they're forever interconnected. I guess if you cover it up, then definitely you can divorce what you're seeing from what you're hearing. It's a product, I guess, that takes a page out of the Macintosh book from its big VU meters and glass-like front plate. Also very clean, very simple on the front. You have a single volume knob, which also doubles as the menu knob. So it's a multi-function knob. You press it in to get into the menu. Has a very nice remote control too. I wish it was built a little bit better because it has some of that shiny plastic, which I feel kind of makes things feel less premium. And a couple other things I don't like. I wish there were shortcuts for every input on the remote control, because to get into the different inputs on the unit itself, you have to navigate a digital menu. I don't love that. I wish there was some more tactile controls, whether it be on the remote or the unit itself. But that's literally the only gripes that I have. It has one of the most amazing sets of input options I've ever seen. Comes with a Sabre 9018 digital to analog converter on the inside. And that's an older chip, but in its day, it was a flagship chip. Flagship, say that 5 times really fast. Let's see if we can do it. Flagship chip, flagship chip, flagship. I guess it's not that bad. Try to say toy boat 5 times really fast. I'm gonna just wait. Toy boat 5 times really fast and go. Yeah, you start to sound strange, don't you? Let me see if I can do it. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. What happens? You go toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. Terrific video thus far, isn't it? It's very exciting. So let's go through the inputs. You have, I'm going to do this from memory, okay? You have 4 analog inputs, so aux 1 through 4. Then you have a phono stage. 3 optical inputs, 1 coaxial input, 1 HDMI ARC, 1 HDMI music input, which I've never really used that before, 1 pair of balanced XLR inputs, and Bluetooth. And I think there's also a USB, that's right, there's a USB connection as well. 4 analogs, 3 digitals, that's 7, plus HDMI 8, plus HDMI music 9, plus USB 10, XLR equals 11, Bluetooth 12. Also has a subwoofer output. Advanced Paris has some other integrated amps that come in at a lower price than the Advanced Paris A10 Classic, but this was a unit that when I first saw it at Expona, or I can't remember, is that an audio show? I looked at it and I honestly thought it was going to be $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, and $2,500 is expensive. I get it. I totally understand it. But it's one of those products that just looking at it, I thought it was going to be way more expensive. And then when I hear it, I also kind of feel like it should be more expensive. The other thing I love about this product is that it has loudness. And some of the speakers that I listen to aren't the most dynamic things in the world. So it's very easy just to turn on the loudness control on the unit itself. Also has tone controls, bass and treble. Also has very easy to use balance, which sometimes if I have a Christmas tree and I have to move one of the speakers, I have to adjust the balance to get the center image to be right in the middle of my fireplace. I guess what I'm trying to say is this is one of, if not the most feature-rich integrated amplifiers I've ever dealt with. It legitimately covers every base. Also has preamp outputs too. Also has a main input. So if you just want to use this as a power amp or you just want to use this as a preamp, you can. I would really love to talk to whoever designed this, because it's almost like there's no situation outside of an integrated streamer, no situation where this thing can't be used on its own. I would say the sound signature leans a little bit vintage, a little bit of warmth in the mid-range, very dynamic, puts out very good power. They do have a step up, the A12, which puts out more power, also has separate power supplies for each side. And I really, really, really want that thing. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll get that. But I just love my A10 Classic so much.
Christmas is just around the corner.
The other product that I completely forgot about, and somebody actually brought it up in the comments, and that's one of the reasons why I'm making this video. So this is a speaker that I left off the list. This is the Dolly Opticon 6 Mark II, not the Decepticon. Not the Autobot, it's the Opticon 6. It is a floor standing speaker. One of the unique things about this floor standing speaker, though, is that it has two tweeters. It has an AMT tweeter, or folded ribbon tweeter, on top of a soft dome tweeter, a big soft dome tweeter, a 1 1/8 inch soft textile dome tweeter. And then it has two 6.5 inch woofers. And Dolly, one of the things I think of when I think of Dolly is their woofer, because it's like a paper pulp, and it's red, this really deep burgundy color. It's just great. Very similar speaker to a much more expensive speaker in Dolly's line as far as the driver array and the driver materials. These are a lot more affordable, though, because they don't have the fancy enclosures. Don't have like a bunch of the fancy veneer and stuff like that. Coming in right now, they're on sale for $2,000 a pair. Dual ports on the back, you can buy wire these. Kind of a Goldilocks speaker as far as size of the enclosure. You can play it in a smaller-ish room, and you can play them in a big room. And I just love the combo between a soft dome and the folded ribbon. I feel like a soft dome tweeter is more natural with its reproduction of voices and some of the higher mid-range percussion that's going on. And then you also get the added benefit of the AMT tweeter on top with the air. And that's one of my, I love detail, I love air, I love being able to hear breath sounds and things like that. So this was a speaker, when I saw it, I knew I needed to listen to it, because on paper, or at least in theory, I thought this could be a speaker that kind of checks all the boxes as far as what I want out of a speaker. And the frequency response isn't bumped all over the place, so it's still a fairly linear speaker. Does have a lot of dynamics though, so it gives me, even though it's a fairly flat speaker from a frequency response, it gives me what I like, which is punch and sparkle, without being overdone on either end. Speaker has a sensitivity of 88 dB, which means you don't need a ton of power. Has a frequency response down to 49 hertz up to 30,000 hertz. So if you want a full range experience, you're still going to need a subwoofer. I wasn't running a subwoofer though when I was listening to these. This is not a true 3-way speaker, so it's a 2.5-way speaker. So the woofers are, I think, voiced to reproduce certain frequencies. Assembled by hand in Denmark, which is pretty cool. So that's it. I promise, maybe, that there's no more products of the year. At this point, pretty much every product, just kidding. Not every product is product of the year, but I would have been remiss had I not included the A10 Classic and the Dolly Opticon 6, which, incidentally, those two together, I mean, granted, this is a $4,500 system. I get it, not cheap. But the A10 Classic and the Dolly Opticon 6 Mark II in the same system, connected to each other, married to each other, it's going to last a long, that marriage is going to last the test of time. Long time. If I missed anything, please put it in the comments, because I obviously did miss some products, because I had some great viewers tell me, what about the Advanced Paris A10 Classic? What about the Dolly Opticon 6? And I'm like, whoopsie daisies. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays. Please like, subscribe, share this video if you think someone would benefit.
Christmas is just around the corner.